Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Radical Racing Challenge. We are racing at the Okayama International Circuit, and we are back for some more action. Last time we were here was Season 4, and we had the same people in the broadcast with us. So I'm joined by the lovely Sam Fitzpatrick, Samudi Kumo, and then we also have Mike Yao helping us out in the broadcasting booth. So it's going to be a lovely evening, and it is the absolute perfect track for this car, for the Radical SR8. Sam, what do you think? Are we in for some action, or do you think some people might be rusty from the vacation break?
I think it's very possible, yeah. I think they will be absolutely roaring to get back racing. I'm sure they would have done a fair few races with these jazz, but not necessarily on track with one another. Because, yeah, we haven't been broadcasting these past few weeks. And, of course, many people, I'm sure, have been on holiday as well. But it's great to see so many top Joes back into the series once again. And, yeah, Okayama should be a very good host for this round of the championship. Currently in qualifying, 8 minutes long, of course 2 laps that these drivers can set, and as my catchphrase is becoming in this series, the drivers are always faster on their second lap than their first lap, so do not take for granted necessarily the times that come in. And also a little bit of a glitch for this circuit, or a little bit of a weird thing with this circuit, of course, is that if you start your outlap in a certain area, your outlap counts as a timed lap, as you can see with Thompson at the top of the time tower at the moment. But disregard that one, will be down to, I think, the mid 1 minute 20s, even the low 1 minute 20s by the end of this session, as the drivers start putting in some laps around this Japanese circuit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the times that come in. Just looking at the names, so Aaron Barber, one of the more famous names when it comes to this class of racing. I'm also seeing some other names, Kudelis, of course, Putiklis, very, very familiar names. And then we actually have some newer names. Vieira, not very familiar to me. Aldrich, I think, is new to the season. Sam, I'll have to ask you, you're kind of the guy with the stats. But we definitely have a few strong competitors in here. So looking at that 123 from Aaron Barber, he's likely to improve on it. 3/10 down the road is Vieira, so Vieira is going to be try and improve on that, but he also has Studnicka right on his rear. Studnicka, of course, I think we saw quite a bit of him when we were at the Nürburgring, and he's definitely going to be aiming at making a splash here. Aldrich also very close behind him. So looking very good there for the front of the pack.
Yes, sure, looking very close, but Barber, as we have seen in previous seasons, absolutely imperious. He's really one of the fastest drivers in this car. I remember when he was duking out for race wins with Pablo Lopez a few seasons ago, and he came in as well. But Barber is a very strong driver. A few drivers just approaching the line right now. Vieira crossing the line for his second lap time, and he does go to the top at the moment, but Barber quickly manages to just beat him on that one. Kundelis moves up into second position, Berchtold up into fifth, but that turns into sixth when Aldrich improves. So you see the second lap times being posted and plenty of improvements being set down the field. So Barber's advantage was cut, but it wasn't enough. I say that. Studnicka storms to the top. 0.3 of a second clear goes the European driver. That is an excellent effort from the car number 4 to go all the way up into that top position. I'm just looking down the order to see if anyone else has got any eligible lap times to set. I think Dylan Freckleton might be one of the last ones. Wright also just crossing the line there for another lap. But yeah, one of the surprises I think up there, well, I think Studnicka getting a pole position is slightly surprising there, Johan. But Artur's Kundelis, not usually a good qualifier. He's up there in third position, but yeah, genuinely looks very close. Top 4 seeds up in the top 4.
Yeah, he's been improving across the past few months, I'd say. We've been keeping an eye on him, and this is probably one of his better qualifying sessions, but he has been edging he's always been edging towards the top. So that's a very good qualifying performance for him. And I do agree, Studnicka has just absolutely blown it out of the water. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the better start. Barber, of course, being very experienced in this car, and Studnicka showing that he can have good amounts of pace. So that is going to be a very close battle down to the first corner, and possibly throughout the entire lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's that experience, as you talk about, for Barber could really prove important, because it is quite a long run down to turn 1 here at Okayama. And it's also quite a chaotic first few corners as well. Always a lot of load that you put on the tyres through turn 1 and turn 2. We know how tricky this car is on the cold tyres as well. So yeah, that will be potentially a tricky point. We're currently seeing Woodward, just checking if he's got any more eligible lap times. I don't believe he does. Now that could be, once again, like I said earlier on, there's a slight weird thing with the pit lane. I think it messes up with the laps and whatever. But I believe at least this is not going to count for Woodward, just trying to get a little bit of extra experience out there at the car number 10, qualifying in 16th place. Navigates around the very slow parts of the lap before he kind of opens up the accelerator into the final couple of corners.
I must say, I'm just going to quickly point out that team name of his. That looks like a prime team for me to join. racing pointless, but that's very creative use there. So yeah, done with qualifying, and at the front, Stanika, of course, with his excellent time of 1:22.834. Then Aaron Barber just close behind him in second place. Then we've got Kundelis, Vieira, Aldritz, Sereni, Freckleton, Putiklis, Birchtold, Wittens, Wright, Taylor in position 12, and then Kirikopoulos 13, Basso, Old, Thompson, Woodward, Rold, Gill, Viller, Hesterman, and Stephen Place making out the rear. So 22 drivers, all of the best in this field tonight. So gearing up for the start. Sam, take us away.
Yeah, we've just got Studnicka to get onto the grid. It seems like there was also a very late improvement from Dylan Freckleton. He managed to move up into 7th place, but also a little bit slower on his first lap was Freckleton, but was able to improve. And also Stephen Place, who did not set any qualifying times, very fortunate that he has decided to take the grid, so should be excellent news on that one. So yeah, we're just waiting for Studnicka, Paul Sitter, along with Dennis Kirikopoulos, car number 9, the veteran from Switzerland, lining up in 13th position. And of course this race should be about 25 minutes long for these drivers, only the second race that we're broadcasted for this season, so really we don't have too much of an idea who is necessarily going to come out on top. Going to be lots of these drivers battling out for the pole position. Particularly look out for Kundelis, usually a weak qualifier. That qualifying time was excellent. Can he improve on his grid position? Gets first strength of field race win. So here we are then, the lights are illuminating the circuit. Studnicka versus Barber on the front row as we pull away from the grid. Good start from Barber. Studnicka going to try to cover him off. It looks like the Norwegian driver has been able to get the inside heading into turn 1. Still Studnicka trying to bend him round the outside into turn 2 they head, and Barber needs to make sure he doesn't run out into the gravel. They stay alongside Vieira, up ahead of Aldridge at the moment. Bit of a poor start for Kundelis to drop down a couple of places, as it looks like Barber's just got the advantage there over Studnicka, as these first few corners super matter, because it's going to be very tricky to overtake later on as we see Roll go off into the barrier. They're going to pick up a little bit of damage. So it's Barber leading the way, Studnicka trying to come back. This is really important that he does make this attack right away, but he cannot make it into the hairpin. He has to settle in behind Vieira, meanwhile just about staying ahead of Aldridge, with Kundelis trying to retake that position they lost at turn 1. He's trying to get past a revolver, but he'll have to wait another lap.
Yeah, this last... Oh, and we've got a big pile up here. That's Thompson and Wright, Kirikopoulos. So lots of contact there. Just checking out what happened there. So already drivers going off the track to avoid one another. Going through revolver there, and oh, that's just the rear end stepping out too much, and that's collecting 2 of the other drivers. That's highly unfortunate. It's a bit of a rough one there for the back of the pack. And Aaron Barber at the front, stepping in with 1:29.090. And Wright's car looking a little bit worse for wear there. So Aaron Barber opening up the gap to Studnicka there. Studnicka had a good fight with him through this first sector in the initial part of the lap, but Atwood curve is such a difficult one at the start on cold tires. You really can't trust the cars. Already here battling it out with, I think that is Putiklis in front of him. Sorry, we're looking at him. So Witten's behind him. And now bending into the hairpin, nice on the inside. And Witten's now just looking for a gap there through revolver. Is not really going to find it as they go through Piper. And this last portion of the track is just the area that you really kind of want to keep up, so a bit more difficult to deal with. A bit unfortunate of that contact, Sam.
Yeah, for sure. And now we've got Jill round. He's dropping down to 17th now. That did look like it was due to contact. They were extremely close, that entire pack. They're still very close, is this pack, as Villa just ahead of Hesterman right there. Hesterman a very much regular. Villa, I think the first time we've seen him out in the field. Good to see Argentina being represented out here on the grid. as Barber puts in the fastest lap on the race, 4/10 of a second faster than Studnicka. Seems like all those front runners starting to pull away from one another. For those viewers who may not have driven this Radical SR8 in the past, there is a bit of a kind of dirty air effect. It's quite tricky to stay close to your rival ahead. There's certainly a draft effect as well, but around a circuit like this, those two factors probably going to be evening each other out. And so not easy to overtake, and yeah, you really need to be faster than the driver ahead in order to start catching them, even if you are within a second. So I think that's probably the reason why we've got this, and Kunzelis will be very disappointed with that start. Started in 4th place, dropped behind Aldridge right away, it looked like, off the launch, and hasn't been able to retake that position since.
Yeah, it's a difficult mental game at the start. I mean, if you qualify badly, you don't really stress about your position. You kind of think to yourself, everything can just go well after this. And if you qualify well, you've got this pressure of, okay, you need to perform now. And it might be that kind of got to his head a little bit. I mean, these guys are excellent at absorbing pressure, but you still apply some pressure on yourself, and that can have quite a big effect. So Kunzelis probably needs to get out of his own head a little bit and just get on with the job ahead. But he is an excellent racer, he can definitely do it. So we'll keep an eye on him. Aldrich just keeping ahead of him slightly as we see them go through Atwood Curve right now. Very difficult corner, kind of opens up near the end, but that initial part, that initial turn in, trying to keep that speed up, it's just so difficult to do, and because you're going uphill, it has kind of a knock-on effect for both the latter part of the corner and then the entire back straight after it. Vieira here in... Sorry?
So yeah, I was just going to say, oh, you're absolutely right. That kind of winds up to the back straight. So yeah, really important that you get the positive. Really tricky, of course, these cars with no traction control. Really particularly tricky to apply the power around that part of the track. Yeah, Vieira just making a couple of mistakes. It seems like he's lost a little bit of time on this lap. He's consistently slower than the drivers ahead. And from Aldridge looking like the one who was vulnerable, it looks a little bit more like the Brazilian. Might be great to see some support from him though in the YouTube chat. Chris Opala Turbo. So he's go Lucas Vieira. Yeah, getting some supports out there for him. And of course, if you're watching along, you're supporting anyone, do let us know on the YouTube chat. But yeah, Vieira down to just 0.3 of a second now. That gap has gone down significantly in the past lap, and he needs to really nail what we were talking about before. Interesting that the drivers are taking a very tight line there through Atwood, not necessarily even using the entire space, just trying to stay super close to the curb. That's what Vieira did. It looks like he'll be safe heading into hairpin.
I'm not feeling the same skin that he's got on the broadcast at the moment, but he kind of just reminded me of one of our sponsors. So I just want to see what Putiklis is up to here with Sereni and Whitson's behind him before I go into the segue. Seems to be quiet, so I'm just going to thank Virtual Racing School, or VRS. They're software that you can use to improve your on-track performance. They've got 50 plus data packs for road and oval racing, setups, track guides, and most importantly, their data analysis software, and also one-on-one coaching that they can use. So good tool to prepare you for the racing on track, especially if the holiday period has kind of put a bit of a layer of rust on your racing. Definitely check them out.
Yeah, God knows I'd like to use them. Of course, they do data packs for this Radical as well, so really good way to improve in the Radical SR8 machine. As we see Basso for the first time this evening, the American driver. Great to see so many different nations. We've got Canadians. Well, this is a battle between Canada, America, the USA, and Argentina. So excellent to see the Americas being represented out here tonight. And currently, it's place winning out. He's up 9 places from his race start. Actually, his place didn't seem to set a qualifying time. It wasn't a case of him going off the circuit. From what I could see, he didn't even leave the pits. So, place maybe just wanting to be at the back to avoid any incidents. Well, seems to have worked well for him because he has gained many of those positions after starting right from the back of the grid. And there's Barber going back to Hesterman, who seems to have escaped any damage. I think he's been close to a couple of incidents so far, but that car still pointing all in the right direction at the moment. So it's kind of have a little bit of a different race to maybe what we would have if we were at a Spa, where not too many overtakes happening out there, just drivers trying to get close enough to go for a big dive into hairpin.
Yeah, Okayama is one of those tracks where, first and foremost, you need to be very consistent. The second, well, not the second, kind of the last part of the lap is a very, very difficult one. But this initial first sector is, to me personally, it's a very good one for overtaking. That first corner, kind of, if you've caught up to the driver in front, that's a very good opportunity to overtake through Williams. But this is just the area where you really need to keep the car in control. Very useful to keep the inside line for battle through the Moss S's, and then this corner right here, Atwood. Absolutely crucial for your lap time, but also absolutely crucial for maintaining your position. Vieira here might be in some danger. You can see him kind of positioning himself to the inside of the track, just communicating his intent, but then just resuming the racing line. Now through the hairpin we go. This is a tricky one on exits, as you need to get the throttle down, but it's so difficult to get the power down there. Through the revolver, and this sector right here is now where the fun really begins from a consistency standpoint. And all of these corners, very low speed, kind of first, second gear, and right now this is where the problem areas arise. You've got this little bump or crest in the circuit, and if you get the power down too quickly, you're going to spin out the rear. So very tricky to keep the consistency over the entirety of the lap. And you can see Vieira there kind of making up a bit of time there in the last part of the lap. In the foreground there, Vieira making the move on Basso as they go through first corner. Vieira just holding on to the position there. Basso trying to fight back, but he's kind of getting held up at the apexes by Vieira. And I think Vieira might have secured the position. We'll just see what happens here through Atwood Curve. Basso being shut down there, and Vieira is going to secure that position as he goes onto the back straight.
Yeah, Vieira kind of sliding about quite a bit there. It seemed to work for him on corner entry, but spun up the tyre slightly on exit, and it's left him a bit vulnerable. And back comes Basso then. Vieira couldn't cover the entire straight, very wide straight there. So it is tricky to cover off the entire thing. And well, that was good resilience there from Basso, just kept it all neat and tidy coming out of Atwood, and he got his reward later on down the straight. So these guys still battling it out. The gap in the lead is 1.8 seconds. Studnicka, by the way, I mean, I was saying earlier on how I was surprised that he took pole position. To be fair, I don't believe he's taken a pole position in a strength of field race before, but he did win the last race at Hungarian that we broadcast was a little while ago. Beat Greg Seitz to the race win, so it would be very impressive if he could get back-to-back victories. But either way, he'd probably be top of the championship if he could take the second place, so would be quite happy with that. You can see Vieira now 4 seconds off the race lead, and Aldridge a little bit further back as we tune in for this battle. This is Sorini versus Vitsens. Now, Vitsens did start a few places behind Sorini, 4 places behind Sorini in fact, but he's been able to catch up, has the car number 5, and this is certainly within dive range for the hairpin, but he didn't want to do it that time because the braking area not quite as long as maybe it would be if it weren't for the bank's nature of that corner, the camber really allowing you to carry a bit more speed through there than you otherwise would be able to. Even around this part of the circuit, there might be the opportunity for Vitsens, who still is staying patient. He thinks there's going to be a better chance later on. He tries to get up the inside. Contact between the two of them. Sorini runs wide, and Vitsens moves up to 7th place. Now Sorini with the cutback. Not a long enough run though to the penultimate corner to attempt that. Well, was that all right, you think, Johan, or was it a little bit over-aggressive?
I think it was a racing incident, so we'll see here. So you can see Vitsens just keeping behind. This is all well and fine, but then Sorini kind of gets onto the curb, and you can see it just completely catches Vitsens off guard. Vitsens expecting Sorini to kind of take a bit of a wider line, and it's just a bit of miscommunication there. I don't think that was malicious, but of course it does scare you a bit when that happens. That could have been a lot worse were they at faster speeds.
And now Sereni's vulnerable from Freckleton. There could be a move for the British driver into the hairpin this time. Is he feeling a little bit more brave than what we saw Vitsons on the last lap? Certainly thoughts about it. I think he was leaving himself open there just in case his rival broke a bit earlier. Freckleton would have been up the inside, but he does not want to risk causing any contact. These cars so fragile, of course. That's just a little bit of contact can easily end your race with no faster pairs in this series. But all this fighting has been that we've got a big old train from Vitsons all the way down to Berchtold.
Yeah, it's what were you saying? Three things are certain in life: love or death, taxes, and the DRS train for Radical Racing Challenge. We're seeing it every single race, but it's always fun to see kind of how the drivers cope with it, how they make use of it. And I think the one driver that's very happy about this whole DRS train is going to be Wittens. Oh, and unfortunately, someone that's not so happy, that's Basso into the wall. His car's looking a bit worse for wear, so that is very unfortunate for him. And he's completely alone, so that looks like he might have been a bit over-ego on the throttle. No, that is the dirt catching him out. And into the wall, that front suspension is going to be hurting. And we're hoping that that car is going to be fine, but that might be an end to Basso's race for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, from when I've been driving this car, that would normally be Kurtz's. I don't know if we can maybe get an onboard, try to see what his steering inputs is like, but yeah, it certainly doesn't look nice for him for the car number 6. But well, he seems to be keeping an alright pace. So yeah, we'll see if he has to come to the pace. It might be that iRacing will be pulling him in there. Giving him the meatball flag. Quick shout out to SDK Gaming, by the way, for being another sponsor for this stream. SDK Gaming providing our overlay, also providing of course live timing that we use up here in the commentary box, and you can also use it as a heads-up display as well. So big thanks to SDK Gaming for sponsoring this broadcast as we come millimeters to contact with Old versus Thompson there. I think that may have been an overtake there from Old. Maybe has been a bit faster than Thompson these past few laps. They were super close to making contact on that occasion. Just about though. Old was able to get ahead, and Basso, after that contact earlier on, he is just at the back of this train.
It looked like a back and forth battle. I'm just going to quickly add onto the SDK Gaming that overlay is very useful if you want to stream your Daytona 24-hour that's coming up later this month. Just the extra little tidbit I wanted to throw in there as we look at Berchtold hunting down Taylor in front of him as they go through Piper and onto the last part of the circuit. So no real passing opportunity here, many shunting opportunities, but that is not... Oh, and I spoke a bit too soon. Taylor spinning out. That is definitely a place I've lost it before. It's a very easy place to lose control of your car. It's low speeds, low revs. Basso into the wall again. That car's hurting. I don't think that suspension is entirely straight at the moment. So he might have to retire the car.
Yeah, I think he managed to avoid the wall at least that time, but I think you're right that that spin was most likely caused by the broken suspension out there. But yeah, shame as well for Taylor to make that mistake. Fought so well to keep Berchtold behind him. I think he had a good chance of keeping him behind to the end of the race, but just gave that one up a little bit early. And we might even be caught by this man, Stephen Place, who is storming along. Last lap's place with a 23.46. That's only a tenth of a second slower than third place man Lucas Vieira. So he's really motoring along his place. And Woodward is the next on his list. I thought 100% he'd go for that move, but he didn't. Villa, has he had a problem? Well, the puff of smoke suggests that he has. He's dropped down to 18th place behind Thompson and Old.
It's a very slow speed for the back part of the circuit. That's a strange way to lose it. Seems
Yeah,
like the air. It looks like that front left is kind of damaged. So the car just completely let go under aero load. Very, very puzzling one.
Yeah, tricky to apply the traction, I guess, and that's nice to just run it a bit wide. But I guess that's maybe why all the other drivers are running it so tight around that corner. Don't want to go out to that part of the circuit. But I think his pace should still be all right. He's got Rolled behind him. He's doing very well, considering that Rolled had a crash earlier on. Seems to have not got too much damage from that. As in fact, Vieira's now had another problem. So maybe overheating the tyres and then just struggling to get away, and even Basse manages to get past him. So a few kind of stragglers at the back of the order with damaged cars and struggling for confidence right now. Here's our race leader once again. Nearly 4 seconds now is the advantage. Really does seem like that qualifying lap. It was probably a mistake involved because he was actually 3/10 slower than Studnicka in qualifying, and really in the race he's consistently been 3/10 of a second faster than Studnicka, so maybe didn't quite hitch that one up. But in the race he is sprinting away. This is as big a gap as you're going to see in these strength of field races, because yeah, he's now 4 seconds clear and half a second faster on that last lap.
I mean, Studnicka is an excellent driver in his own right, but I think Barber just proving why there is a legendary status behind his name. I mean, that's just absolutely dominating this race. In a strength of, in a field where the other drivers are definitely pretty strong themselves. I just quickly want to thank one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. They provide 29 data packs, setups, track guides, and integration with VRS for the data packs. Also weekly group coaching sessions and a few other little goodies. So definitely go check them out as well if you kind of want to progress your racing to the next level. On screen, so Puteklis, that looks like Witt is just behind him in a very heated battle there for 6th position. Not really enough of, or a small enough gap to do anything, so I think Puteklis is just trying to open up that gap before the main straight. See if he can just lessen the effects of the draft. It makes that first sector a lot easier to deal with if you don't have someone breathing down your neck. Witten's, of course, looking to pile on the pressure, trying to force a mistake from Puteklis, or just something that can get him closer by the time that they reach Atwood Curve. But for now, both of the drivers looking very strong through the corners. And Witten's just tucking in behind as close as possible. Now on the run down towards Atwood, and he is a bit far away to do anything reasonable. And it looks like Wittens is getting a bit of a faster exit out of Atwood, so we'll see what he does down the back straight.
It does seem to really get some good traction out of that corner, as Puteklis just kind of dividing that corner right there, as we see alongside for Sorini versus Freckleton there. And now Sorini just defending from Freckleton on that occasion. So Freckleton's been catching recently, but Sorini was able to fend off that attack. But yeah, Puteklis kind of making that corner into trail breaking into that one, and really trying to cut across the circuit as he breaks into the corner, just defending any potential overtake. Kundelis is off the track now. Can he get back onto circuit without losing a position? Here comes Puteklis and Wittens. I think they're both going to be able to get past him here. Kundelis tries to defend up the inside, but he hasn't got the momentum to hold on. Surely here comes Puteklis much later on the brakes, is the Latvian, and he does pull off an excellent overtake right there. Now he needs to try to carry some good speed around these next couple of corners. He's going to be offline, and of course whilst he has the opportunity to pass Kundelis, this might also be an opening for Wittens as well, who is looking to take advantage of this once again. getting him offline there is Kundlis could get a better launch out of the corner. They all seem to kind of get similar exits right there, and Kundlis struggling to get into the draft now. He is well alongside. I think he'll get his nose ahead, in fact, into the hairpin, but he'll have to be much later on the brakes if he's going to make it round this corner. He'll have the inside for the next corner, really narrows up around here, and Kundlis does manage to take back that 5th position ahead of Putzkes, and Vixens has to set for 7 still.
Yeah, that was just some excellent racing. So you can see here, so Kundlis just following behind. We'll see what happened with him. So that's just braking onto the grass. It's so difficult because you need to have your wheel on that white line for the braking zone, and unfortunately Kundlis is just not getting it right for that portion of the track there. But amazing recovery there for Kundlis through the revolver. And well-earned 5th position there for him there, but Putzkes is definitely not going to give up. He's smelt a possible change in position, and thankfully it's also kind of protected him from Witten's behind him. So Witten's just sitting behind them, kind of eyeing up the whole situation, seeing if the opportunity arises, but it is so tricky when you've got 3 cars battling this close together.
Is as we'll see if he can respond this time. Putzkes looks like he's a bit too far back there, and also those other 3 seemingly catching up as well. So Rini caught up by about a second on that last lap on these drivers ahead, so still a little bit of hope for him. Very little of this race to go. Barber is about to start the final lap with a 5.7 second advantage. By the way, apologies, I did call him Norwegian, I think, at the start, which is totally wrong. He's from the Benelux region of Europe. I believe Dutch is Barber, which would be a decent guess. The Dutch, of course, having many successful sim racers, of course. It's a safe bet, as he continues to pull out that advantage, 0.4 of a second faster. And yeah, this is absolutely as comfortable a race win as you'll see in this series. Other battles going on. Looks like Place is getting particularly close to Woodward. Now that move has been coming for a little while actually, but Place has been very cautious in overtaking. It seems like he's been many times within passing range, but always backed out of it. Now it's on the last lap, maybe willing to be a bit more adventurous.
It does seem like Stephen places a bit of a cautious driver. It might be that he's just trying to kind of keep good spirits with all of the drivers around him. They do have a community built around this race, so it's always difficult if you're the new guy and you kind of want to keep a good standing with everyone. So 2 wide through the hairpin, and that's some nice close racing there, and Place just making the move stick there. Some excellent driving, biding his time and getting the move executed through the hairpin. Aaron Barber is going to take the win here. And that is just absolutely spectacular. 6 seconds. That's a very impressive gap. Stanika taking up 2nd place, well earned. And a dash for the line there. Vieira and Aldrich.
Just a 1/10 of a second in it between those 2 in the end. Aldrich got very close on that last lap. Kundlis able to beat Putzkes. Vixens in 7th place, immediately turning back. I'm not sure how happy he was with that one. Just could not find a way past after a bit of a disappointing qualifying for him. And Hesterman finishing in 14th place. He was quite close to right there, and yeah, Place was able to consolidate that move on Woodward. So excellent work there from Place. Saw some good overtakes, not too many overtakes admittedly, but of the few that there were quite a few nice ones, as we see Barber on that victory lap, still absolutely pelting it round over to the pit lane. He'll be delighted that his first win in a strength of field race in this series for I want to say a little while. It may have actually just been Okayama last season, I think. I don't know if he particularly likes this circuit. I know he certainly owns all the content, so it's not that the fact that it's a free track. But I think he just made a guest appearance last season. Turned up and won at Okayama. So good race win for him then. Hopefully we see him for the rest of the season, because he is an absolutely terrific driver, as we might be able to show you your race results for tonight's action.
Yeah, so Aaron Barber, of course, taking the race win. Just an absolute dominating performance there, 6.218 seconds. Then Stunica behind him, also very, very solid performance. Vieira, strong third. Then we've got Aldridge Gonzalez with a well fought for 5th position. Putiklis, Wittens, Sereni, Freckleton, Berchtold in 10th. Taylor, Stephen Place, Woodward, Hesterman, Wright, Thompson, Old, and then Rold. So Gwendolyn Old in 17th, Gabriel de Rold in 18th, and then Basso, Gill, unfortunately having a bit of a rough race, and then Villa and Kirakopoulos, unfortunately also there a rough one for him, having to retire his car. So Sam, yeah, what do you think? I think this might have been a bit of a quiet race compared to the last race we had in Season 4, but definitely some good battles between some of the drivers. Any ones that stood out for you?
Well, I think that last lap pass from Place was really impressive. I think also Kundalis's retaliation against Putiklis was really good to see as well. After making that spin, losing the position, able to come back a few corners later though to move up into 5th place. So no, yeah, it was some good fighting out there, and yeah, hopefully it keeps up for the rest of the season. Hopefully we'll have some interviews as well with the drivers, but I also am just going to have a look at what the next round of the championship is, because we have got some excellent ones towards the end of the season. But yeah, next round, as I frantically look, I really should have looked at this beforehand. I did look at it, but I have totally forgotten. It is going to be Interlagos for the next round of the championship, Johan, which I think will be a little bit easier to overtake around that track. A very long flat out section, of course, probably going to be probably 35 seconds, I think, flat out consecutively, kind of around that turn 13 area onto the French stretch, and then of course the run to turn 4 as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that one. I don't recall the Radicals series visiting that track in a little while.
Yeah, we definitely didn't see them last season, and or see them there last season, and the only low-powered car I've seen there were the Skip Barbers, and I think that's taking the term low-powered to the extreme part of the spectrum. I think for the Radical SR8 it's a low-powered prototype, which is I mean, it doesn't carry much weight calling them low-powered. They're extremely fast. But I think Interlagos is going to be a very fun track for them. There are going to be some tactics in terms of that long straight, especially with the draft being a bit of a factor for this car. So it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers react, whether they buy their time with overtakes, maybe leave them for the end of the race, or maybe just try and get past someone and race off in the first and second sectors of the track. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But I think, Sam, we might have someone for you.
Yes, we've got Lucas Vieira, who joins us in the commentary box now. Lucas, congratulations out there. Really strong result for you tonight. Yeah, how are you feeling right now? You must be very satisfied to beat John by such a small margin.
Hey guys, hi Sam. Thanks. It's a really tough track to be on, and it's a terrific result because we have a lot of regular drivers. Like it's mostly 2 alien drivers right here in the Radicals, and it's a really satisfying result. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, how was qualifying for you? Because it seemed very close. Were you happy with how your second lap went?
Not really. You have to warm up the tires for this car. If you don't do it right, you overheat the front tires, and the rear gets no grip at all, and they're kind of spinning all around. I was kind of a bit anxious from this broadcast race, so I ended up just messed up a little bit, but it was okay. It was a good lap anyway.
I drive this car a little bit myself, and I always mess up. I think the
Yeah.
tire warm up. What what's the good tactic? I mean, is it weaving about? Is it about trying to kind of spin up the wheels a little bit? Of course, don't get penalised by iRacing. You've got to be careful of that. But what is sort of the best method that you've found to kind of warming up those tyres for qualifying?
Oh, that's a bit of a trick I learned with Aaron. You have to like just scrub the tires a bit, the front tires, and once you do that, you have like kind of a lot of warm on the front tires. But if you do too much, you overheat the tires. So you have the right measure to do. You have to practice a little bit, like just for quali, and practice for the race because it's a totally different environment. If you overheat the tires and a few laps, your tires will be toasted. So it's just for qualifying, and that's it.
And talk us through this final couple of laps as well in today's race, because it seemed like you had a decent advantage over John. It seemed like the gap was maintaining around a second on the most part, but it seemed to get very close at the end. What was there any mistake on that last lap?
Yeah, when they go the final laps, you have the tires mostly are gone. You have like no grip, but you have to keep the car on the track. And I was comfortable, and I see the Arthurs did a mistake. I think the pressure on John gone, and he started pushing to catch me, and he did a very good job. And he almost did it. And I was just trying to keep the advantage, but he's a really good driver, and all merits for him. But it was fun. It was a good track.
And what do you think about Interlagos for the next round of the championship? Because if I recall correctly, I can't recall visiting that circuit in this car for a few seasons, but have you driven that car track combo?
Oh yeah, first broadcast I ever did in my life was in Interlagos. It's my home track. I live like 14 minutes away from Interlagos. I drove a couple times in real life either, but it will be fun to be there. It's really looking forward for it.
God, I totally forgot. Of course, it's your home circuit. So no, hopefully that you will enjoy that one, and hopefully you get a bit of a boost around that track. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh, for you guys, for the amazing job, and for all the regular drivers, and especially for Sean for making this possible.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Lucas, and yeah, best of luck next week.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye, guys.
Lucas Vieira there, finishing in third position tonight. And I think, Johan, we're going to be able to have a chat with Aaron Barber.
It's awesome that he's joining us. So, big welcome to you, Aaron. And I just want to say, wow, absolutely dominating performance. You kind of made the overtake stick in the first lap and then just never looked back. Maybe talk us through that race and what it felt like for you.
Yeah, the qualifying was all calculated because you don't want to start on the left side. Nah, I'm just kidding. I just had a big lock up on the second lap and then I lost like a half a second there. So I was really happy to be P2. And then, you know, you start on the on the right side of the track, and I was hoping to get a good launch, which I did. So I thought, yeah, why not stick it on turn one, and then I was able to you know, I know my pace is a little bit better, and in qualifying I should have done it 22.5, 22.6, but yeah, from that point I was not really pushing, but just maintaining the gap, and then slowly doing some good laps, because you don't want a hot lap, and if I push too hard, then I'm racing against myself, and that's when things go wrong. So
yeah, and that's with Okayama, I think consistency is always a bit of a tricky one. I also just want to kind of make the observation, although it's Sam's observation, we've seen you quite a few times here at Okayama. Is it one of your favorite tracks with the car track combo, or is it just a coincidence that we've kind of always seen you here at Okayama with the Radicals?
Oh no, it's just a coincidence. I don't have particular feelings for this track. I like it. It's a technical track with no slipstream. It's not like Spa or anything where you have to account for the big draft when people stay behind you just because of the draft. but this is more of a technical track. Here, if you're fast, you get away. That's not so much draft. So even if you gain on the straight like 1 or 2 tenths, maybe at maximum, you lose it with the dirty air. So it's really good to be upfront. But I like the track, especially with this car. I'm just following the schedule now. So I'm looking forward to next week. Interlagos is also a small track like this. Maybe with the longer straight, we'll see what will happen there. But I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I can definitely agree. It's also a very fun track for me as well. So you're saying you're following the schedule. Are you planning on participating in the entire season, or are you just kind of racing what you find enjoyable at the moment?
Yeah, I will participate for the season because I actually we don't know each other, but I think Sam, I know Sam, so we know each other from 2 seasons ago. I won that season, so I took a season off to just cool down and then have some fun in other cars. But I will still race the Radical, so I think I will. After winning my first championship 2 seasons ago, I think maybe I will try to win this one if I can. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, definitely wishing you good luck with that, and it's awesome to have you back, and awesome to see you race on track. Any shout-outs from your side, Aaron?
You guys, you do an amazing job, and all the guys in the Radical community on the Discord also. So it's always nice to race with them, and looking forward to next week.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Aaron, and good luck for the preparation for next week, and we'll see you on the track.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye. Awesome stuff. So I think that is all the interviews we are going to have, Sam. Anything from your side?
Yeah, just happy to be back because this is one of the first broadcasts we've done of 2022. So looking forward to the rest of the rounds in this championship. Still got another 7 or so to go. Some really good say. I think Interlagos will be really good next time out as well. And well, just glad to hear that Aaron looks like he's going to mount a proper challenge for this season. Of course, like you said, champion of a couple of seasons ago, won probably a dozen or so strength of field races in the past in this series, so really cool to have him back. And yep, that's a shame for anyone else who had championship aspirations, but it should make it very competitive at the top of the sessions at least.
I think Stanika is going to try and give him a run for his money, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes of it. So I'm just trying to see what we've got lined up at the for the future now, but unfortunately my internet connection is on the fritz. I don't know if you can see it from your side, Sam, but we do have some interesting stuff lined up on the Apex Racing TV channel for you to watch in the future.
Yeah, got F3s tomorrow. That's the return of the Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 Virtual Racing School Super Series, which of course I'll be broadcasting as always, so that's one that I'm certainly looking forward to. Then we've also got Formula 3.5 in the evening. Spec Racer Ford is on Sunday. IGP Fun is also on Sunday. We got the XSLR NASCAR 1987 series. That is on that's on Sunday nights for Americans, that one. Also the return of the CKT, the Colorado Karting Tour iRacing Winter Series. We've also got hopefully the start of the Porsche Cup Championship, the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship next Wednesday. Also got ARL GT Trophy as well on Tuesday. Got the second round of Apex Racing League Touring Car Britain as well on Thursday. So lots of stuff on Apex Racing TV, so make sure to subscribe.
Yeah, and if you want to keep an eye on the updates, you can look for Apex Racing TV on Instagram or Twitter, and then also follow them on YouTube to see when the scheduled broadcasts go up, and if you want to see any of our past broadcasts. From myself, Johan, and Sam Fitzpatrick, and Samuli and Mike in the broadcasting booth, we hope you have a lovely evening, and we hope to see you out on the racing track. Have a good one, and until next time.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.